Hello, hello, hello. Gonna give it 1 minute while people see if anybody comes in. But until then, this is Top Rope Squishy. We are live here to recap AEW Dynamite. And as always, before I begin, I always like to ask if you don't subscribe to please subscribe. I drop content weekly. I do predictions on Mondays and recaps on Thursdays. And of course, if you don't follow me on Twitter and Instagram, Top Rope Squishy, I have a very positive Twitter handle and Instagram handle. It's all about wrestling and sometimes about the stars, but it's always positive if you're looking for the non-toxic handles. I'm one of those people to follow. And of course, please check out the merch. If you watch Squishadamus, this is how I always end my videos. So you know what? Let's get started. Dynamite was good. Again, as always, I'd give it about a 7.5 for yesterday. It started off with the Inner Circle. Big Boy Facts Johnny says, hello, can I ask a question? Sure, go ahead. Hello, no neck bone tone. Please feel free. When I see the question pop up, I will respond for sure. But yeah, it started with the Inner Circle. The Inner Circle came out all in black cars, black everything. They're back to fight. So, you know, Blood and Guts, May 5th is going to be the Pinnacle versus the Inner Circle. I am so ready for that. So ready. But the matches started with Hangman Adam Page versus Max Caster. Now, some people are not a fan of Max Caster, but I am. I think the Acclaimed are an awesome tag team. And Anthony Bowens is currently injured, which is why you're probably seeing Max Caster doing a lot of singles run. We all knew Hangman Adam Page was going to win. But it definitely wasn't so one-sided, although I do feel that Hangman Adam Page did dominate the match more. I know that Anthony Bowens tried to interfere, but he did get kicked in the face, and he got a backflip done on him by Hangman Adam Page so that he wouldn't interrupt anymore, and then he went off and finished Max Caster, which, you know, all in all, it was a good match. Then the Death Triangle came out. They had some words to say, but they were confronted by Best Friends. And Chris Statlander is part of the Best Friends faction. She's back, and I'm so happy that she's back. And what a great faction for her to end up in. Seriously. So this is going to be a trios match. It's going to be the Death Triangle versus Best Friends. It's going to happen at some point. So hopefully soon we'll be seeing that. That was cool. I mean, I've always been a fan of Best Friends, and I think the Death Triangle is just a sick faction. I see them holding belts at some point. The Inner Circle came out. They had some really harsh words. Well, Jericho had some really harsh words for the Pinnacle. And I mean, he got all red in the face. It was serious. But then, you know, as later, Jericho got his butt whooped. But we'll get to that later. Christian Cage had some things to say. He got invited by Team Taz. I don't think he's going to join. I don't know about you, but I don't think that Christian Cage is going to join Team Taz. I think that's going to be another feud because I think Taz always gets really upset when people turn down his offers. So I would say stay tuned to some Christian Cage versus Team Taz people matches. Jurassic Express went up against Bear Country. No Neck Bone Tone says Jericho was in rare form. Yes, Jericho was in rare form yesterday. He got really red in the face and he dropped a lot of curses. I don't know if you guys noticed how they had to keep like changing the words and stuff. I mean, he was really into it. So let's keep that going. Let's keep that fire and that Inner Circle energy going. So yeah, Jurassic Express went up against Bear Country. I had a feeling it was going to be hard for Jungle Boy to handle Bear Country. I mean, those are two big boys, okay? But Luchasaurus had a better time at it, and he was the one who ended up finishing them off, and he took the win in the end. I think all in all, that match was pretty good. I don't see that I don't think there should be a continuing feud there. The only reason why I think this happened was because they teamed up, it didn't work out, and then they got angry at each other and boom, they went at it. But I think that one and done here is good. I think they should move on. QT has some harsh words for Cody. He called Cody bargain brand Sting. I think that's hilarious. That promo was amazing. QT is definitely an underrated wrestler. I've said this before. I think that QT has so much potential to dominate in the ring, but he's just so underrated. And now he has Aaron Solo, Nick Camarata, who's a beast, and Anthony Ogogo, who's having his debut on next week. So that's exciting. Looking forward to seeing what he can or can't do in the ring. But yeah, QT is gonna have some fights with the Nightmare family. Tony said, No Neck Bone Tone says, I think it will be an interesting faction. I think that the QT faction is definitely going to be an interesting faction. I'm kind of curious to what they're going to name it because they haven't really mentioned that yet. So I guess stay tuned. Sting came out to speak again. And can you react to time-lapse Dalesford painting pool? I am sorry, big boys, Facts Johnny, but I do not know what that is. Yeah, so Sting came out to speak and he was predictably interrupted by Murder Hawk. But unlike the few last times that Murder Hawk has interrupted Sting, this time Sting agreed with him. He told Murder Hawk, yeah, it is your time and you should shine in the ring and this should be your chance. And he even told Jake the Snake, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing to get him to where he needs to be? I have a feeling that Sting and Murder Hawk are going to have a match where Murder Hawk is going to beat him, and then he's probably going to go for Darby. Should Murder Hawk have the TNT title? Yes, they should. So Big Boy Facts Johnny says that the painting pool is when two people paint a pool, but they move really fast. I have no idea what that's about or what that has anything to do with the recap, but let's talk offline, okay? Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky were not feeling Sting's approval of Murder Hawk, so I think there's going to be something going on there too. I actually like the Scorpio Sky and the Ethan Page team up. I always thought that Scorpio Sky needed a younger team member because I thought that Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian were a little too old for Scorpio Skies. And he wasn't getting like the in-ring time that he needed. So here with Ethan Page, I think this is a great pair up. I think they're really going to go places here. You're going to see this tag team for a while, and they've already started on Dark Evolution. They beat Matt and Mike Sydal, so that was good. And Team Taz had another little promo. There's a problem there. I see a Ricky Starks versus Brian Cage match in the future, and I think that's going to be Brian Cage's chance to exit. So we'll see. Then the TNT match happened. Darby Allin versus JD Drake. You know what? JD Drake came to play. He surprised me. He's been on Dark a few times, but this was definitely a match that showcased his talent. I mean, this is a big dude, and he wasn't pulling any punches. Darby had to fight, and he had to fight hard. But of course, he hit him with a code red and a coffin drop, and he was able to retain his title. But then the Hardy family office showed up, and in true heel fashion, they started beating on Darby. And then the bunny went to the commentating table, and guess who came out? Sting came out with Dark Order to defend Darby Allin, and that made Butcher and the Blade and the whole Hardy family run off the stage, and it left Bunny by herself when then she ended up getting surprise attacked by Ty Conti. And that actually ended up being the next match. But before that, the Pinnacle locked the IC in their changing room and whooped on Jericho in the ring. And then when the Inner Circle was able to break free, Mike Tyson had arrived at the ring. So he showed up first to defend Chris Jericho, and then the whole Inner Circle showed up, and then the Pinnacle scrambled, but Mike Tyson got a few hits off of Shawn Spears. He's very brave for putting himself in that position. But yeah, it seemed like Jericho and Mike Tyson squashed their beef, and Tyson will be back next week. Britt Baker dropped a promo. So she acknowledged the fact that, she doesn't have the ranking that she's supposed to have to be the top contender to go up against Hikaru Shida for the belt. But she said that you need to start watching Dark Elevation and Dynamite because she's going to be taking on matches and winning and getting herself to the top. People, if Britt Baker does not go up against Hikaru Shida for the belt at Double or Nothing and wins, I know nothing. I know nothing of wrestling because this has been the buildup that I have been seeing since she was in a wheelchair last year. I really, truly believe that Britt Baker is due the belt. Okay, she drops amazing promos. She's gotten so good in the ring. And you have to acknowledge that her match against Thunder Rosa as the main event, yes, it was a crazy, insane match, and those matches don't happen all the time, but it was such a good match. I think it's like one of my top favorite matches. And yes, I'm biased because I love Thunder Rosa, but that aside, Britt Baker's been doing her thing on the mic and off of the mic, and you guys have to give her credit. I really do believe that it is Britt Baker's turn. It is time for a heel champion. Nyla Rose's run with the belt was way too short, and I would have loved to see her have kept the belt for longer. But hey, she didn't. Shida has it, and it's time for Britt Baker. So I want to see that at Double or Nothing. Ty Conti went up against the Bunny, and she won. She hit her with a Ty KO, and the Bunny kicked out, and then she hit her with a DD Ty, and she couldn't kick out of that, and Ty won. I know Ty is going to go up against Shida at some point for the belt, but she's not going to win. It's going to happen before Double or Nothing, but Ty Conti is not going to win. Ty is definitely a crowd favorite, but she's not ready yet. She's not ready for the belt yet. If some of you guys don't even think Britt Baker's ready, so if Britt Baker isn't ready in your view, how can Ty be ready? When Ty only has like, what, 2 years, 3 maybe? Wrestling? Not a lot. So, yeah. And Red Velvet dropped a promo on Jade. So that match is happening next week. Finally, we're going to get a Jade Cargill versus Red Velvet stirring it up in the ring. She told Jade that if you're calling yourself that bitch, you better be that bitch that gets the job done. I mean, this is going to be one of those matches where they're going to kill each other in the ring. And I am so ready. I want Jade to show everything that she's been, doing in the back end. Show it in the ring. And the little bit of time that I've seen her in the ring, she's been very, very impressive. Putting aside her amazing physique and how freaking strong she is, this woman has an amazing future if she keeps going the way that she's going. And I do see her with the women's championship belt in a year or two. Mark my words. And then finally, we get to the main event. This is the only match that I predicted wrong for this Dynamite. I truly believe that the Young Bucks were going to take it with Moxley, but that did not happen. Why didn't that happen? So Matt and Nick Jackson were having a very difficult time kicking Kenny Omega's ass because they were friends, right? So they have this whole issue going on, and every time that they get an opportunity to take Kenny Omega out and pin him, they wouldn't do it. So Jon Moxley got very upset. At this point, they have been going back and forth for a while, and it was pretty even. I don't think it was one-sided at all. But at one point, Moxley got fed up. He tagged himself in, and he just looked at Matt Jackson and Nick Jackson what the are you doing? And he paradigm shift Kenny Omega twice. But when he was going for the third one, The Good Brothers, I believe, yeah, it was the Good Brothers that stopped him. Either way, he ended up being held by the Good Brothers, and Matt and Nick Jackson super kicked Moxley in the face and then let Kenny Omega pin him. And Nick Jackson and Matt Jackson joined back up with Kenny Omega. I personally did not want that to happen because I wanted Matt Jackson to do something about Don Callis slapping him, but it didn't happen. However, I still believe that at some point, Matt Jackson is going to flip out on Kenny and or Don Callis. So even though I feel like this is a little bit of a heel turn for them, I don't think they're fully there yet. I truly, truly believe that the Young Bucks are going to really turn on Kenny Omega at some point. Maybe it won't be long lasting. Maybe they'll get over it. And this is maybe when Kenny Omega breaks away from Don Callis. I don't know. But I still see the Young Bucks having that fight with Kenny Omega. Anyhow, those were my predictions. Not my predictions. I was so excited. I don't even know what I'm saying. That was my recap. I had so much fun talking about AEW. As always, I love talking about wrestling. And people, if you do not follow me on Twitter and Instagram, follow me at Top Rope Squishy. And if you do not subscribe, please consider subscribing. I do predictions on Mondays and live recaps on Thursdays. And check out the merch, Love, Peace, and Wrestling. As always, people, thank you so much for joining me. I truly appreciate it. Thank you, No Neck Bone Tone. See you guys next Thursday. And as I said before, I am planning to start having people live on here with me. And yes, Big Boy Fact Johnny wants me to read his comment. You're talking about the first video. I'm not really sure what you're saying, but send me that on my Twitter and I will retweet it. I promise. All right, y'all. It's been fun. Have a good one. Good night.